And now his final pass. Front of back handspring. Another nice full. Very clean routine. The biggest break was that step on the landing. Maybe not some of the most difficult skills we'll see tonight, but very clean. And again, that's what gets you to finals, and that's what gets you good scores.
And Ross, again, just a sophomore, along with Josh Levin. Quite a talented group over there for Coach Steve Kafka. Jeff Pan, meanwhile, on the pommel horse with an 8.65, and that is what he scored in the prelims as well. Stepping up next on the horse is Matt Gill, junior from Hinsdale Central, a Red Devil.
And Matt swings with beautiful extension. Small hesitation there. That's going to be a small deduction. Moving through his scissor skills, which are required on the horse. There's a travel without the pommel.
You can see his coach, Nick Paducah, going with him in the back in the suit and coat. And there is Matt Gill, 8.80 in the preliminaries. Good for 5th place. He's seeing if he can do better than that now.
And watch how Matt, again, you saw the travel without the pommel. Whenever you see the athlete use his hands on the pommel horse versus the pommel, that's going to elevate the level of the skill and give him a better score.
Meanwhile, we're waiting for the score from Eddie Ross on the floor exercise, 9.1. Again, an improvement over his preliminary score, 9.00, 9.10 for Eddie Ross. Now here is another veteran high school gymnast, Anthony Cirillo from Homewood Flossmoor.
Wow, there's Anthony performing a double full punch front. And a little style there, a little break dance. And he had a little trouble on that handstand. He needs to hold that handstand for 2 seconds. I think the judges may hit him a couple tenths. Comes back with the front step out. 3 back flips in a row, right into a front flip. What the athletes are trying to do is combine skills, and when the more skills they combine, that's how they're going to get bonus. And he dismounts with another double full. Great routine. You saw him take a small step. One of the only breaks in that routine. He really had everything, difficulty and combination.
Tied for 3rd in the preliminary. Here is part of his routine.
Now watch this middle pass. He does a front step out. 1, 2, 3 back flips. He puts a full twist on that one into a front flip. Really some fantastic tumbling right there.
Anthony Cirillo from Homewood Flossmoor. Let's pick up the score now on the pommel horse. 8.95 for Matt Gill. Now let's take a look at Josh Levin. We told you he got a 10 from 2 judges in the prelims with a 9.95 total score. Watch him here.
And Josh is just unbelievable on this event. He really has already performed almost 3 routines on the first half of his routine. Beautiful extension. Look at the speed. Working on the end. Fantastic routine. Unbelievable difficulty.
Fans are on their feet, and they're not just from Glen Ellen.
And here's his dismount. You can see him working on the end. Walk around to the loop off. You saw his legs together. Beautiful form. Really no deductions.
And you see he acknowledges the pommel horse. Now let's get the score for Anthony Cirillo as we pick 9.40 for Anthony Cirillo, and he is the leader to this point after the first 3 competitors. And here from Glenbard East, senior Brendan O'Leary, tied for 8th in the prelims, had a 9.10.
Brendan mounts with a tuck double back, little trouble, had to touch his hands. And here's the strength skill, the press handstand. And there's the 2-second hold. Bounding fronts in the tuck position. And he keeps working right through, like back with a full twist into a punch front. And again, there's some of the combination I mentioned earlier. And his last pass. Up double full. Nice routine. Really just a couple bobbles, and again, some very difficult tumbling at the end of the set. Mounts with a tuck double and comes back at the end with a double full.
Brendan O'Leary, senior from Glenbard East. Now let's see what the score is for Josh Levin, and there it is. Wow, first time ever in the state, and this place has gone nuts. 10.0 for Josh Levin. He won the pommel horse last year with then record 9.8. This year, nobody's going to beat it.
No way, and I'll tell you something, that routine he did is international level gymnastics. I mean, this kid is way ahead of his time on this particular event. So look to see not only great things here in Illinois gymnastics, but look to see Josh on the international scene someday in the future.
Well, the next competitor, Derek Hartman from Homewood Flossmoor, waiting now while things calm down a bit after that electrifying 10.0 thrown on the pommel horse by Josh Levin. Here's Derek Hartman, another sophomore, 8.70, his preliminary score.
And there's Derek again working outside the pommels. Again, more work with the pommel between his hands. A nice scissor combination on the end. And back into double leg circles. And a back travel. Ooh, a little trouble. I'm not sure if he's going to count that as his dismount. I think he is. I think that was kind of a, no, actually he's going to go back up. That was a fall. He's got 30 seconds to regroup.
Doing nicely, very nicely up until that point. And again, some people did think that was his dismount.
And he was very close. That was probably what he needed to do. Just a couple more back loops. Really a nice routine up to that point, but the 5/10 deduction is going to knock him out of the running.
Derek Hartman from Homewood Flossmoor. Now let's pick up the score. 8.95. This is for Brendan O'Leary's floor exercise. O'Leary, the senior from Glenbard East, and he has fallen from the 9.1 that he threw in the preliminaries. Here is Chris Lakeman. Lakeman, a junior from Rolling Meadows, also a 9.20 in the preliminaries.
Chris mounts with a tuck double back. I think he pulled it out. His hands were really close to the floor, but I think he kept him up. Nice strength part on the floor. Call it a Maltese, which you typically see on the still rings. He comes back with a handspring way out front, right into a tuck front. Little trouble there. Over-rotated, had to kind of fall in his hands. And really no major breaks, but just these little bobbles that add up. And his dismount. Great. Nice job. Kind of a unique finish. Usually you see back tumbling in the last pass. He did a front 1 and 3 where you saw he rolled out of the front and then jump, straddle jump, punch front. Let's take a look at it. Here's the front. 1 and 3 rolls out of it, straddle jump right into another front.
Junior Chris Lakeman. And now let's pick up Derek Hartman's score on the pommel horse.
Next up on the pommel horse, representing Mundelein High School, Chris Corlin.
8.4 for Derek Hartman, and now we have Chris Corlin from Mundelein High School, 8.70 in the prelims.
And Chris mounts with back loops. And right into a nice scissor sequence, back into double leg circles. And again, swinging nicely, but you can see just little bends and flicks in his legs. Each one of those adds up. And dismount, flare travel, and the loop off. Again, got through the routine, nice job, but just a little tight and a few execution errors that are going to hold that score down.
Junior Chris Corlin from Mundelein.
Right here you can see his dismount, flared circles. Those legs are straddled into a loop and the loop off.
Meanwhile, the score for Chris Lakeman on the floor exercise, 8.9. Again, a drop off from his prelim. Here is Chad Lanham from Bloom Township High School in Chicago Heights. He is a junior and was the 5th top qualifier with a 9.30 in the preliminary.
And he warmed up a new skill on his mount. Watch this. On a back handspring. Double layup. Oh, he overdid it. He thought he was in trouble, and he started to pull his feet to the floor, but he actually could have stayed stretch. And his press handstand saves it. Almost got into trouble there. And a nice bounding front sequence, tuck front into layout full. Three front flips in a row, all in the pike position. And again, what they're going for is the combination bonus. And he dismounts, front back handspring, tuck double back. Oh, man. Way too much power, just went right by it, had to take 3 or 4 steps. Really unfortunate, because that was a fantastic routine up to that point, but that dismount, just 3 or 4 deduction, that just knocks you out of it.
8.6.
That was from Chad Lanham.
Here's his dismount. Look, he's way up there, just drops out of it, and he has too much, and has to take those 3 steps.
Meanwhile, for Chris Corlum, an 8.6 on the pommel horse. And here is Craig Reeder from York High School in Elmhurst, 8.6 on his preliminary.
And Craig's moving quite nicely. Again, good extension, good swing, but again, you can see the little form breaks, and there a little travel on the travel down. He's got to take the 5/10 deduction. Again, he's got 30 seconds to chalk up, talk to his coaches. And now his dismount. Again, very close to finishing that routine. Unfortunately, he did have some trouble on the travel down.
Craig Reeder, senior from York High. Now let's get Chad Lanham's score on the floor exercise, an 8.6. And that'll bring up Josh Levin, who's already put together a 10.0 on the horse.
And he mounts with a tuck double back and just way overdoes it. Really lost track of the ground and almost missed his feet entirely.
I think he may have been a little pumped from the previous exercise.
Possibly. Very exciting.
He tied for 9th here a year ago in this event.
Comes back with bounding fronts. And why not use some of his expertise on the floor? There's the flared circles, and he spindles, turning counterclockwise. Kind of a different scale we haven't seen. That's called a Y scale. And now his dismount. 3 whipbacks and the stuck landing. Really very clean after that major fall in the beginning. He got composed, but unfortunately that was a major break on that mount.
Josh Levin, a 9.30 in the preliminaries, and here's the last pass.
2 whipbacks right into a 3rd back, all bounding again, going for that combination bonus.
Meanwhile, you see Craig Reeder's score on the pommel horse, an 8.25, and that'll bring up veteran Tim Dare from Hinsdale Central, one of the top gymnasts on 2-time defending champion Red Devils team.
And Tim really looks good on horse because of his long body. You can see the legs extended. Pull it out. Oh, trouble. I don't know if you saw, but his right hand slipped a little bit, and that seemed to pull him off the horse, and he just could not save it. And the nerves must be getting to the guys a little bit on horse. After watching Josh Levin, we've had quite a few falls.
Tim Dare 3rd in the all-around competition.
back into his back loops and his dismount. And again, the thing that's unusual is 3 of the falls we've seen have come right before the dismount. They really only had a couple tricks left and just could not stay on the horse.
Tim Dare finishes his routine. Now we're looking for the score from Josh Levin's floor exercise.
Score for Josh Levin, 8.8.
8.8 for Josh Levin.
High School, Matt Goldstein.
The leader right now in the floor exercise, Anthony Cirillo, with a 9.4. Here is Matt Goldstein, again a veteran, and he tied for first in the preliminaries and took second in this event a year ago.
What a great athlete. He mounted with a tuck double back. Just made it look effortless. Dropped out of the sky.
He and Dave Johnson of St. Rita certainly the favorites in this event.
And a great front tumbling pass. Bounding fronts right into a head spring front. Very clean. Let's see if he can finish this dismount. 2 whip backs, a third back, and a nice landing. He got into a little trouble, lost some virtuosity in the last pass, but very clean. Maybe a small deduction. A great routine.
Matt Goldstein, 4th 2 years ago, tied for first a year ago. He is in the lead now, and we'll see what his score is. Meanwhile, let's pick up the scoring for Tim Dare on the horse. 8.45. And that's with the major break. And here, one of the Lorick twins from Hinsdale Central. This is Mike Lorick, Jr., 8.6 in the preliminary.
Mike does a beautiful travel across the horse. One hand on the pommels, one off. And I don't know if you noticed, but a lot more speed in his swing. And that's a sign of a very good pommel horse, man. Gets a little trouble again on the dismount.
30 seconds.
He was trying to perform a Russian walk around on the end, which, again, a couple guys have tried and have fallen off.
Second straight Hinsdale Central gymnasts to have the break.
In this particular event is why Hinsdale Central is so good. They usually have 3 or 4 guys in the finals. Again, Mike, a very nice routine up to the dismount where he had to take the 5/10 fall.
All right, let's see if we can pick up Matt Goldstein's score now on the floor exercise. Again, he would certainly be the favorite here. And Matt Goldstein not quite there with Anthony Cirillo, but he moves into 3rd place behind him and Tristan Healy. So here now is Bob Fineglass from New Trier.
And Bob, very explosive mount. 2 layout fronts, almost needed air brakes to stop that thing. And he comes back with front step out. Wow. Back twist with a full right to the splits. I guarantee you will not see many of those. And what Bob's trying to do there is he's going to get a couple tenths back in virtuosity. And dismounts with a tuck double back. Wow, great finish. Kind of an unusual mount, doing his front tumbling first and then finishes with the big back tumbling skill, the tuck double back.
Bob Fineglass, 9.10 in the preliminary. Certainly looks to be a stronger routine here.
And watch this, round of flip-flop, full, right here. He splits his legs, and you're gonna see he's gonna use his hands to help break the fall. Great original skill.
Meanwhile, Mike Lorick, 8.35 after his difficulties on the pommel horse. And here is John Pomerantz from Niles North and Skokie. Pomerantz tied for 2nd in the preliminary. And again, these scores are not cumulative. The preliminaries just get you into the finals, and after that it's 1 through 10, and your score is your score. So you could finish first in the prelims and drop to 10th in the final.
And John's going to travel across the horse without the pommels. The flare circles. Another great travel without the pommels. And again, notice how quickly he's swinging. Back into double leg circles. And travels down into the dismount. Nice routine. Maybe not as spectacular as Josh, but very clean. Had the difficulty and stayed on the horse, something that most of the guys have not been able to do tonight.
That's right. He got through it cleanly, which is something to be said for John Pomerantz. Here he is on the dismount.
9.25.
9.25. Meanwhile, the score for Bob Feinglass, that ties him for 3rd place on the floor exercise with Matt Goldstein. And here is Dave Johnson. Again, he tied with Goldstein in the preliminaries with a 9.5. He has to beat a 9.4 to win.
And a tremendous first pass. 3 bounding fronts, all stretched with a twist on the 3rd one. Awesome double back. Dave working very smoothly. There's a straddle plunge to fulfill the strength requirement. Very clean, very confident.
Now, he did not compete last year.
He broke his wrist right before the state series started and was not able to qualify through. Oh, little trouble on that front with the full. Was able to pull it out. Up to that point, what a fantastic routine.
Dave Johnson. Now let's take a look and pick up John Pomerantz's score on the pommel horse. And a 9.15 on the floor exercise, rather, on the pommel horse for John Pomerantz, which moves him into 2nd place. Now here, from Glenbard West, is Eddie Ross, the 3rd sophomore in that triumvirate.
And a great opening sequence. Again, you saw him with his hands off the pommels on the leather. There it is again. Hands outside the pommels. Very difficult. And again, he's adding up those combination bonus points. Very extended, clean swing, legs together. Great routine.
Well, Eddie Ross working to get as close as he can to his teammate, Josh Levin.
I think we may have a 1-2 finish on the pommel horse for Glenbard West.
Now the score for Dave Johnson on the floor exercise, 9.40. That ties him with Anthony Cirillo of Homewood Flossmoor for the championship, and Tristan Healy will take 3rd place. Healy from Downers Grove North. Now our final competitor coming up on the pommel horse was Eddie Ross, and we should get his score, and then we will have the awards.
Unfortunately, on both the floor exercise and pommel horse, we were plagued with quite a few falls. Guys that were really doing some great routines and then had a major break, fell off the horse, or had a major bobble in their floor routine.
Now Eddie Ross, again the sophomore from Glenbard West, he needs to beat 9.15 to take 2nd place, now held by John Pomerantz of Niles North. The 10.0, of course, not going to be beaten by Josh Levin.
And it looks like we're going to have a judging conference at the pommel horse for Eddie Ross's score. We have 4 judges on each event, and what's happening is the high and the low score is thrown out, and then the 2 middle scores are averaged. Well, those 2 middle scores have to be within a certain range, and in this case those 2 middle scores are not within range. The judges have to come together, say, hey guys, are we all looking at the same thing? Do we have the same difficulty? Do we have the same combination?
See, Tom Walthouse, the meet referee, is in the middle of that. And as you said, Rob, it's get your act together, guys. We have to come up with something that's close. So they are continuing to caucus. Meanwhile, it is hard to believe, and yet it has not happened. A 10.0. This is the first time that has been done in the history of the state.
Again, Josh Levin is so far ahead of the rest of the group here, and really was doing, as I mentioned earlier, skills that you'll see at the international competitions, at World Championships, at the Olympics.
I think the question was posed to some of the coaches, is he Olympic caliber? And the answer was no, not yet. But again, he's only a sophomore. The men's gymnasts mature a lot later than the women do. And if he sticks with it and develops, you're looking there at Eddie Ross, and we'll see some of his routine again while we wait for his score. But if he continues, if Josh Levin continues to improve at the rate he has improved, you might well see him in the year 2000 at the Olympics.
Without a doubt, Josh Levin is going to have to mature physically, because at the international level, even at the collegiate level, the athletes are very, very strong. Here's his teammate, and again, a great 1-2 punch on the men's most difficult event, pommel horse. Really not an execution deduction in that whole routine. Legs are together and straight.
And Eddie Ross comes up with a 9.2, so that will gain him second place behind his teammate, with John Pomerantz, a 9.15, coming up to take third. We will have the awards coming up, and the competition will continue, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
There's only one, Bob Rohrman.
Shame on you other dealers, you ones calling yourself superstores. Schaumburg Honda Automobiles is the largest Honda dealer in the entire Midwest, with over 600 new Hondas available every day, and tops in customer satisfaction too. I guess that makes us the super duper dealer. Schaumburg Honda Automobiles, just 8 blocks west of Woodfield Mall on Goff Road. Super duper.
With scores of 9.40, a junior.
Here are the award ceremonies for the floor exercise, and we have a tie for first place. Anthony Cirillo of Homewood Flossmoor and Dave Johnson of Chicago St. Rita, both finishing with 9.40. Finishing third, you see on the right in the blue, Tristan Healy with a 9.3 from Downers Grove North, and tying for fourth, last year's defending champion Matt Goldstein from Conant and Bob Feinglass from New Trier. And there are your two winners, both tying with a 9.4, Dave Johnson and Anthony Cirillo. Johnson's on the left, Cirillo is on the right. There's a full look at the scores. 9.40 takes first. Healy in third, 9.3. Goldstein, again, he won this last year, slipped to a 9.25 and tied with Bob Feinglass. Feinglass did not place in 1995 in this event. Now let's go on to the pommel horse awards here.
Finishing in fourth place with a score of 8.95, a junior from Hinsdale Central High School, Matt Gill.
Matt Gill with an 8.95 from Hinsdale Central. He will finish in fourth.
Finishing in third place with a score of 9.15, a senior from Niles North High School, John Pomerantz.
John Pomerantz takes third. Jeff Pan took fifth place. We neglected to mention there's Jeff on the right.
Sophomore
There's John
from
Pomerantz.
Glenbard West High School.
And second place finisher from Glenbard West, sophomore Eddie Ross. And here he comes. Ross with a 9.2. And for the victory, his second straight on this event.
And now 1990.
With a 10.0, a perfect 10.
Also a
From Glenbard West, the all-around champion for 1996, and now he's won his first individual event tonight. Josh Levin. There he is, and what a number. Fans are rising, a standing O, and I think it's reached him. Josh Levin, and we'll show you a little bit more of his routine. One more time, here's Josh Levin's perfect 10.
And right here, we're going to catch him during his scissors. Look at the nice height. And again, watch the extension and the speed he works here. Right out to the end. He's going to do what's called a walk around, back loop, walks the hands around. Again, if you'll notice, the legs never came apart. Feet are always pointed. Tremendous gymnastics.
And a little bow to the apparatus. Levin first with the perfect 10, followed by his teammate Eddie Ross, a 9.2. Pomerantz from Niles North, 9.15. Matt Gill from Hinsdale Central, 8.95. And Jeff Pan, first competitor, the senior from Naperville North, 8.65. Two more events coming up. We've got the still rings and we've got the long horse vault. So stay with us.
The whole town's talking about the Webb Boys Volume Advantage. You pay less because the Webb Boys sell more. At Packy Webb Ford and Wheaton and Webb Dodge in Glen Ellen, choose from over 700 new plus over 250 used vehicles, all at the Webb Boys Volume Advantage price, so you always save more. The Webb Boys Volume Advantage, only at Packy Webb Ford and Wheaton and Webb Dodge in Glen Ellen, conveniently located on Roosevelt Road.
See your Webb family dealer today.
Stop into Menards and watch your savings grow. Get a beautiful lawn with NK Fast and Fine Lawn Seed, a special mix for quick results. Just $1.98 for a 1-pound box. Your kids will love swing sets from Hedstrom. They include a slide, swings, and other fun accessories with padded legs and Rust-Oleum protection. The Sheffield Royale is $259. Menards is your savings place for outdoor fun.
Save big money at Menards.
Back at Forest View High School with Rob Brown. I'm Mike Lederman. Tim Sutton, our Sports Channel crew, in the truck and on the floor. Next we go to the still rings. And Randy Watts from Hoffman Estates will lead it off. Person to watch here once again will be Josh Levin, who won this, albeit with a 9.6 in the preliminary. Our first competitor, Randy Watts, a senior from Hoffman Estates, a 9.25 in the preliminaries, good for 5th place. But again, that's the prelims. Everybody starts from scratch here on the finals.
And what you're going to look for in rings, Randy just did. And more of it is strength combination. What a fantastic mount. And that's another strength skill to handstand that's required in a ring routine. And a swing skill to handstand, that's called a front giant, is also required. And now he's going to perform what I thought was going to be another strength skill, and his dismount bails in a tuck tail back. I think he wanted to hold that, what looked to be a straddle plunge, kind of had to come out of it early. I can understand that was about his 6th strength part. Here's the Last half of that routine, back up rise to L. Now watch right here. He's going to do a straddle plunge and really needed to hold that longer. And the dismount tuck double back. Little bob on the landing, but I think not holding that plunge long enough was the deduction.
This is Tristan Healy on the vault.
Tristan does what's called a pike Sukahara. A nice clean vault. Legs were straight. Nice distance.
We take a look at all the vault competitors right now, and the preliminary leader is Cirillo, who won the floor exercise. Meanwhile, let's check the first score for Randy Watts, and we are waiting for that to be posted. The judges are talking that one up a bit.
And unlike women's gymnastics, the men only get one vault in finals, whereas the women get two. So they get one shot.
Still no consensus on Randy Watts' performance on the still rings. So the judges now are coming up with a number here, and it will be passed on. And a fine performance, 9.50. Randy Watts opening with a big number. And now here is Christopher Bratsos, another junior from Hoffman Estates, 7th in the preliminaries at a 9.2, right behind his teammates, 9.25.
And Christopher also mounts with a strength part. L cross drops right to what's called a front lever. And another cross, back up rise across. And right there you can see he's a little high. That's going to be a small deduction. On a cross, the athlete's arms should be even with the rings. Press handstand. A little tight, needs to push that out. And there's his swing to handstand. Nice dismount, bail, tuck double back. Just pulls it out. Got into a little trouble, managed to get his feet down. Had to take the big hop, but still a very nice routine.
Junior Christopher Bratsos from Hoffman Estates will check the dismount. Rob.
There's the bail, and watch, he pulls the knees up into that tuck position, 2 flips, looks for the landing. Really needed to stay in that tuck a little longer to make that landing a little easier for him.
Meanwhile, on the vault, Tristan Healy, first competitor, a 9.10. Now we'll see Tim Dare from Hinsdale Central.
And Tim does a Sukahara in the layout position. Really a great fall. He had to be 3 meters away from the horse. And what the judges are looking for is, again, execution. Let's take a look. Watch this. On the horse, small break in the legs. Small break in the legs, but there's the stretch body position. Small step, but wow, he's probably going to get bonus for the distance on that vault.
Tim Dare tied for second in the prelims with a 9.3 and a very strong finals effort from the senior from Hinsdale Central. Meanwhile, we want to pick up the score for Bratsos of Hoffman Estates on the still rings. Well, a lot of conferencing tonight.
The sport has become more complicated, and along with that, you can see where the judges have a lot more to think about. There's a lot more things the athletes are doing in their routines, and that's why you're going to get these judging conferences.
Meanwhile, Brian Raff from Glenbrook South will be next up. Once we get the score and you see the fans, or you hear the fans are getting a little restless. And I think we have a final number now. And we'll take a look as the judges, everybody's just looking at the scoreboard right here. And well,
and again, what they're doing is he's going judge by judge, and they're checking to make sure that they all have the same difficulty, combination, bonus, things of that nature, to make sure those 2 middle scores are within range.
Okay. While we're waiting, of course, we want to show you how good Robbie Brown is. You talk about an expert. Here's an expert from 1982. You know, there might have been bad hair, but it was a tremendous routine. That was then, this is now.
That was the style.
All right, 9.1 was the score for Brazos. Now here is Brian Raff. I'm envious of that hair, Rob, I got to tell you. Brian Raff from Glenbrook South, 9.25 in the preliminary.
And a great mount, Kip, L cross, and then pulls out of the cross. Front giant swing to handstand, little bobble, and lowers down to another cross. Again, look how the shoulders are, even with the rings, and pulls to an L cross. Great strength combination. And his dismount, full twist, nice landing. Obviously, the strong point in that routine was the strength.
Good job by Brian Raff from Glenbrook South. Meanwhile, on the vault, Tim Dare with a 9.25, just 5/100ths below what he had in the preliminary. 9.25 for Tim Dare. Here is Matt Goldstein, 9.3 in the preliminaries, finished 8th in the vault a year ago.
And Matt also chooses the Sugihara type vault. He was in an open pike. We've seen pikes and we've seen layout. The layout is when the hips are pushed out. Matt's body was bent at the hips. Watch. There's the round off entry and the body's bent at the hips. That's a pike. Didn't grab his leg, so it's an open pike. A little trouble on the landing, but again, nice vault.
Now the score coming up on the still rings for Brian Raff. There's another conference. We may have to pull out our director Tim Sutton's baby pictures, Rob. I don't think we want to do that. Meanwhile, the conferencing continues.
Score for Brian Raff, 9.
And Brian Raff with a 9.1. And now here is Dave Johnson, co-winner in the first event. On the floor exercise, Johnson 9.0 here. This is one of his weaker events, but again, he had enough to take second in the all-around.
That didn't look too weak, and that doesn't look too weak either. Two beautiful L crosses. Nice press to handstand. Something I like about Dave is he really has beautiful technique. Look at how stretched his body is, how locked his arm. Wow, double back in the rings. Right to a double flyaway. One of the most difficult skills we're going to see in the ring competition tonight.
We'll show it to you again. The final combination and dismount.
There's the double back in the rings. He holds on right into the tuck double dismount. What a great combination.
Outstanding job for Dave Johnson. Matt Goldstein on the vault, a 9.1. Here is Steve Scheffler from Schaumburg High.
And finally, a stuck landing. Again, a pike, Sugihara. Maybe not as far as we've seen some of the vaults. There's the block off the horse, open pike, and the feet don't move. Just bring those heels together.
Scheffler a 9.1 in the preliminaries. Now we're looking for Dave Johnson's score, and the fans getting a rhythmic applause going. They want to see some high numbers. It's interesting, the contrasted scores. A 9.8 for Dave Johnson. Puts him in first place by 3/10 right now. And that is a state record. Previously 9.65 set back in 1987. So 2 records tonight so far. And this is Joe Kerman, another one of the fine gymnasts from Glenbard West. Kerman 4th in this event a year ago. Tied for 3rd in the preliminaries with a 9.30.
And again, Joe showing us the great strength in the beginning. 3 L crosses, pulls out of the second one. front giant. Again, a little trouble in the handstand. Maybe to lock that in a little bit better. Bales into a tuck double back dismount.
And Joe Kerman, the senior, competing on the still rings. Now, the vault score for Steve Scheffler, 9.25, and that ties him for the lead with Tim Dare after 4 competitors. This is Ryan Trumpinski from Jacobs.
Ryan does a real nice Sukahara in the pike position. Good landing.
First guy we've seen vaulting with the Michigan shorts.
And again, just the little steps on the landing. Could have used a little more distance, but a very clean vault.
Looking for the score again. The contrast, because the rings is such a long and involved event compared to the vault, which is obviously over very, very quickly. We're looking for that score. They didn't put up the second number. 9.0 for Joe Kerman, and here is his teammate, the 4th finals qualifier from Glenbard West, Teddy Holub. Holub 9.15, good for 8th place in the preliminaries.
And Teddy moving through his strength combination, L cross a little high, and a backup rise to Maltese, something we haven't seen yet. Again, one more level up in difficulty from that L cross we've seen a lot of. Presses to handstand, Bale to tuck double back. Nice routine, the big step on the landing, maybe a little tight during the routine, but these routines tonight have all been excellent. Everyone's got the strength, everyone's got the swing, some really good gymnastics.
9.0.
Ryan Trumpinski's score on the vault, meanwhile, a 9.0 for the senior from Algonquin Jacobs. Now here is Dave Johnson.
Very unique vault. He does a handspring vault. Again, most of the vaults we've seen today have round off onto the horse. He does a forward vault with 2 twists. Watch this, one hand handspring, one hand blocks, and he wraps 2 twists and takes the landing. Had to take a big step. Very difficult vault, and something we haven't seen much of tonight.
How do you think the judges will react to that?
Again, one thing with that style of vault is it's very difficult to get distance and height. So he may get hit in that category of the scoring.
Well, we've seen Johnson as a most creative gymnast in several events. 9.15 for Teddy Holub. Johnson leads the still rings competition with a 9.8. Here's Mark Geppetta from Mundelein, a junior. 9.30, good for a tie for 3rd after the preliminaries.
And Mark mounts with the kip to Maltese. Right to a hollow back press to handstand. And a giant swing to handstand. And a backup rise to a straddled plunge. And really that was a kind of like a Maltese, but just the shoulders are up above the rings. 2 different type of strength skills. Same style. And the bail into tuck double back. Nails the landing.
Mark Geppetta, junior from Mundelein, looking to move up from his 3rd place finish. Here's a look at the dismount again, Robbie.
Bails from the handstand, the double back in the tuck position. And again, we talk about it all the time. It's sticking that landing. There it was.
Dave Johnson, meanwhile, a 9.25, his effort on the vault. And that puts him into a share of the lead with Steve Scheffler and Tim Dare. Here is Anthony Cirillo, who won the prelim. And that's a pretty good reason why. Talk about height.
And Anthony steps it up one more level. That's called a Kazamatsu. It's the round off onto the horse. Now watch here, he's going to pull and he's going to twist, a full twist on the back flip. Again, he just bumps it up one more notch.
With the little step off the landing, but quite an effective vault for Cirillo. Meanwhile, Chiappetta moves into a tie for second place with a 9.5. And here is Josh Levin. Levin won this event in the preliminaries with a 9.6. Went to state last year in the rings. Made top 30. And now the judges are talking a bit again, and we don't know why.
And the thing that's unusual about this conference is they've already posted a score. So maybe the head judge caught something after the fact, just wants to make sure he's got it right. And again, here at state finals, God forbid there's a mathematical error, something to that effect, to take someone out of a medal.
The last score was Chiappetta's 9.5. You see it there.
Representing Glenbard was Josh Levin.
Well, apparently that will stand. And now here is Josh Levin, who scored a 9.6 in the preliminaries to win.
And Josh mounts with a backup right to L cross and pulls out of it. A little high in that cross. There's a press to handstand. Nice lock arm giant. Another beautiful swing through a handstand. Tuck double back, nails the landing. If you haven't noticed by now, Josh's strength is swing. Doesn't quite have the strength we've seen from some of the athletes on the rings tonight, but beautiful swing. Look at the locked arms right into a beautiful extended handstand. There's another shoot to handstand. And the dismount, he sees that all the way, nails the landing.
Anthony Cirillo a 9.4 to take first place so far in the vault. Here is Troy Rumelski of Wakanda.
And Troy does a Sukahara in the pike position.
We'll see it again. He ran into problems here.
Looks like he just gets a little low on the horse, but manages to push it out. Has a little trouble on the landing.
Josh Levin, meanwhile, a 9. Well, let's check that. I thought I saw a 9.45, but I believe that's 9.7. Josh Levin with a 9.7. That puts him behind Dave Johnson, but into second place. And here is Chris Lakeman from Rolling Meadows, a 9.0. His preliminary effort.
Great mount, back up rise to Maltese. And another one, you saw his feet drop a little bit. That's going to be a small deduction. And the elbow's bent. Shoots to handstand, and now lowers to an inverted cross. We haven't seen this yet tonight. Just handstand, tuck double pulled around. Couldn't quite get those feet down. Has to touch the hands. Nice routine up to that point. Just ran out of gas on the dismount.
Junior Chris Lakeman from Rolling Meadows. Now we'll pick up Rumelski's score, 8.95 for Troy on the vault. And here is Peter Callan from Homewood, Flossmoor. Callan, the junior, put up a 9.10 in the preliminary.
And Peter does a Sukahara in the open tuck position.
Callan.
Nice form on that round off. Good form in the air, has to take the small step. Very clean vault.
Now we're waiting for Chris Lakeman's score.
Let's go, Beecher! Let's go, Nick! Let's go, Nick!
8.95.
Next up on the still ring, representing Homewood High School,
And here is Matt Goldstein. Second in the preliminaries at a 9.50. Has to beat a 9.8.
And Matt mounts with a beautiful kip to Maltese. You notice how his whole body was down in the rings and level with the ground. L-cross pull-up. Got into a little trouble. You can see the elbows bent. It's going to be a small deduction. Has completed all his strength requirements. And there's his swing to handstand requirement. Now dismount. Bail, tuck double. Beautiful routine up through the dismount where he had to take that small hop.
And Matt Goldstein looking to medal here. 9.5 in the preliminary. Meanwhile, Peter Calland an 8.8. And here is our final competitor on the vault from Beecher High School, the lone representative. Here is Nick Becker. 9.0 preliminary score.
And Nick does a Sugahara type vault. Does the stretch position, the layout, but pulls it around what looked to be kind of like a layout pike, we'll call it. Here it is, watch. He stretches the body right away. There's the stretch, but has to pull the knees around to get it down. And actually, you saw him overdo it, had to take the step backwards.
Nick Becker from Beecher High. Now the score awaited is for Matt Goldstein's still rings performance. And a 9.35 for Matt Goldstein, which puts him into 5th place right now. Here is Edsel Clark, senior from Downers Grove North, honored as the Senior Gymnast of the Year earlier this evening.
Edsel mounts with a swing to handstand. And again, another unusual strength skill we haven't seen. He does a V sit on the rings and lowers to L cross. And then drops the legs to a regular cross. And again, an inverted cross. We saw one earlier. Bails into the dismount, back flip with a full twist. Ran into a little trouble on the inverted cross. Needed to go a little lower and hold it a little longer.
Nice job by Edsel Clark. Finished top 20 in this event a year ago at state.
And here's the dismount. Stretched, back flip with a full twist. And of course, a small step on the landing.
Nick Becker's score, 9.25, the final competitor on the horse. And we still have one more competitor on the still rings, Mike Jones from Libertyville. Judges, of course, have to come together on a score for Edsel Clark. Again, a different number of competitors because the event is whittled down to the top 10 preliminary finishers plus ties. So there are 12 competitors on the still rings, and on the vault there were 10. Mike Jones ready to go. Edsel Clark, 9.05.
Next up on the still rings, representing Libertyville High School, Mike Jones.
Jones, a sophomore from Libertyville.
And Mike does a back up rise to cross, pulls his legs up in the L position, and pulls out of the cross. And they get a separate trick for pulling out of the cross. Press handstand. Swing giant, a little trouble, had to kind of muscle it at the end. That one's a little better. And dismount, nice open tuck double, nails the landing.
Nice routine from Mike Jones, Libertyville sophomore, 9.00 in the preliminary. He is the final competitor in this rotation. So we will just wait a moment because we know that the judges will be taking a lot of consideration here. There's the dismount, Rob.
And again, one of the more flighty dismounts we've seen, very high, rotating very quickly. That's what allowed him to stay in that open tuck position. I'm wondering if at some point he can add a twist to that dismount.
As we await the score here on the still rings, Dave Johnson with that outstanding 9.8, another new state record. Far and away the winner here.
And I'm really impressed with the way Dave does his gymnastics. Very confident, very good technique, and as we saw in the rings, he's very strong. And he's looking forward to what I think is a very good gymnastics career. I hope he sticks with it.
Unofficially, Johnson, the first place winner, 9.8. And we're waiting for the Mike Jones score. To this point, Josh Levin with a 9.7, also breaking the state finals record, coming up with second place. Third place tie Randy Watts and Mark Chiappetta, 9.5. And now we're getting the final score for Jones, 9.15, which will not get him a top 5 finish, but we will have all those official results and the award ceremonies and the next rotation when we return.
.9% financing for 24 months or 0 payment, 0 interest, and 0 down for 6 months.
Still rings. There is Matt Goldstein, his 9.35, good for a 5th place finish. A bit of a disappointment for him as he threw a 9.50 in the preliminaries. A tie for 3rd place.
Mark Chiappetta.
That's Randy Watts of Hoffman Estates and Mark Chiappetta of Mundelein, each with a 9.5. And here comes Chiappetta and Watts.
Finishing in 2nd place.
2nd place now with a 9.70, breaking the state record of 9.65 for a final. Josh Levin, who already has a 1st. And it's not a 10-0, but he'll take it.
The 1996
and the winner
the junior
on the still rings, and what a routine he showed us. The young man, the one-man team from St. Rita with a 9.8, a new state finals record. Here is Dave Johnson. And we'll show you again some of the work that Dave Johnson did to come from 10th place with a 9.0 in the prelims to win the final.
And really what Dave did here, is one of the only guys tonight that combined tremendous strength skills, which you're seeing there, performed very well. He combined that with excellent swing skills. Now watch this. Big time tricks. Giant swing, locked arm, beautiful. Right into this, double back, holds on the rings, through it, dislocate, right into the dismounts. Again, very high level combination of skills.
We have a 4-way tie.
Okay, there are your final results. Dave Johnson with the new state record. Josh Levin also breaking the state record. Mark Chiappetta and Randy Watts tying for third. And Matt Goldstein from Conant, fifth, 9.35. Now, on to the vault. We're finishing fifth, and we'll see him before. We'll see him again. Nick Becker from
a senior,
Beecher High School.
Glenbard High School, Steve Scheffler.
Steve Scheffler also with a 9.25. Scheffler
A
from
senior
Schaumburg.
from Hinsdale Central High School, Tim Dare.
Tim Dare, 9.25. Getting kind of crowded up on that.
From Chicago, St. Rita, Dave
Second place
Johnson.
ladder, and here he is again. So look at Tim Dare. And here is Dave Johnson, who along with Josh Levin's probably going to need help taking all these medals out of here tonight.
1996 champion on the vault. The score of 9.45, a junior from Homewood, Flossmoor High School, Anthony Cirillo.
And Anthony Cirillo with his second first place finish tonight. First on the floor exercise and here on the vault. And Cirillo is having a busy night as well. From Homewood, Flossmoor. Cirillo with a 9.45. 9.55 in the prelims, and here's the vault.
And watch the great height. And again, this is one of the only vaults that we saw of its type tonight, the Kazamatsu. Again, he's got the difficulty, nice landing. He's gonna pull the big score.
So it's maybe with all the, could be little Anthony in the Imperials right there. He's the top guy, 9.45, and then four people tying for second place: Tim Dare, Steve Scheffler, Dave Johnson, and Nick Becker. And that's the situation as they finished on the vault. Our last two events in the rotation coming up: P-bars and high bar.
Hi, I'm Norm Van Leer. This year, more than 63,000 cancer cases will be diagnosed in Illinois. Join our fight against cancer. Participate in the American Cancer Society's 24th Annual Walk and Roll Chicago, Sunday, May 19th. Go out and get pledges. Bring yourself and your friends to the Petrillo Music Shell. Anyone who raises at least $1,000 get a round-trip ticket courtesy of American Airlines. Walk and Roll Chicago. Join the fun and join the fight. Call 312-372-0471.